How far can they go? There we go.
That far. All right, let's find out what our next map is. Sky Temple, and KT taking that first pick.
CE going for the map here, or rather KT going for the first pick, should I say. Sky Temple. I think that map fits CE's playstyle a lot. Out of all the teams in China, they're definitely one of the few that know how to play the bigger picture, know how to play the macro. So I doubt that we're going to see just mindless brawling all the time. Instead, we're probably going to see Dehaka pop up, some Falstad maybe. Wouldn't really surprise me here. Look at the record for CE. Unbeaten yet to this day on Sky Temple.
They have a lot of maps like this, and this is just one of them. See if they can continue it, whereas KT currently untested on this map in official HGC games. Let's see how they're able to do it.
Yeah, once again, like some really good analysis done here by CE, because they were the ones to pick the battleground after all. So they must have done some research. And you know what? KT has never played on Sky Temple. Let's go for it. Could be a good sign for CE, but let's see. The first pick and first ban, of course, goes over to KT. Are they going to ban the Karazim? That would be the ultimate sign of respect here, but I don't think so. The Genji also super scary. Zuyu just putting on a clinic.
Yeah, he was a big part about how CE were able to come back, 'cause when they were under complete duress on their own base, basically, while Illidan was killing their keep, it was Zuyu who was able to kill off that backline and drive Illidan back once, even though the keep still went down, he got them a bit of that comeback XP and forced Illidan to leave.
There wasn't a single stun. There wasn't a single silence to really stop Genji from going ham either, right? They had Tyrael, Tassadar, Rhaegar, Illidan. Actually, that must have been, or that must have felt like a Genji Wonderland. You could just do whatever you wanted to as long as you didn't take too much damage. So sick.
Indeed. So, while we are waiting for the C ban, what are we thinking? Dehaka, maybe? Do they want to deny that, seeing as it's been consistently banned, usually its first ban most games?
Yeah, very true. We could also see the likes of Anub'arak or Uther, maybe Malthael getting banned, but Malthael, I get the feeling that Chinese teams were like, not really as dominant as we thought he would be. Let's actually get back to the stuff we're actually good on.
Maybe. Uther, first pick. I still think Malthael is really good. I think he just depends on the composition. Anub and Malthael. There we go. So it's very much about what you can pick, where you can pick him up, what map. For example, like in the last game, CE just really needed to counter the Illidan stuff, and Malthael's not great for that. He's okay, but he's not great.
Let's bring in all them angels here. Auriel being locked in, Malthael being deployed. The only ones missing are, of course, Tyrael and maybe a Angelic Vala if we ever get to see one. But this is the most old school of double support comps. You really get the feeling that when the first game didn't go well for you in China, you know, just play Uther, Auriel, Vala, and we're gonna be just Gucci.
This is still weird though, picking this into the Malthael. Remember, he is very commonly picked for his anti-healing aspect that he can spread to an entire team. The only hero, I believe, who could do that, except for a really lucky Zul or a really lucky Malfurion.
Yeah, definitely true. That's a good point. Like, Malthael doesn't have to land. He doesn't have to aim his anti-healing spells, whereas the likes of Zul, even a variant to a certain way, and of course Malfurion, they need to aim their abilities and they need to carefully choose where they drop it down. Whereas with Malthael, you just pop two buttons, two keys on your keyboard, and you're going to be affecting everyone in your vicinity, and that's very, very powerful. Now, Tyrael getting bullied, getting banned out.
So all the angels have seen, been seen in the draft, it's just not all played.
So, what do you want to deny on the side of CE? I mean, right now, I think a Karazim ban is actually legit, but they once again go for the Cassia. Okay.
That's fine. She's still one of the top assassins in the game right now, so removing her away from this is still pretty reasonable. So CE, they still need some kind of range damage dealer. They still need a support, and then potentially second tank, second damage dealer, second support. They have plenty of options there.
Yeah, maybe your good old Tychus again for KTY, who I really love seeing on that hero, by the way. I think out of all the games CE has played over the last few days, KTY on that Tychus every single time, such a dominant factor too. Like, we can't underestimate how important those Odins were in the last game too, with all the AoE damage becoming more resilient, not dying as easily, also clumping up very nicely to his support. I think positioning for a ranged assassin is oftentimes a quality that is really overlooked, because not only do you need to have good micro, good damage, of course, good mechanics, but you need to know where your support is, and sometimes you need to be the one running to them, rather than the support always babysitting you.
Speaking of support babysitting, Rhaegar, one of the best babysit supports for someone like Greymane. Just keep them alive, keep them doing damage. Also for Malthael, so that's good. A good Ancestor onto Malthael or Greymane is going to allow them to do some crazy work in these fights. So cool to see by CE.
Yeah, gotta agree. The Rhaegar is nice. The Greymane is just fantastic too. We haven't seen any variant with the Greymane, by the way, which is something we're quite used to seeing in the western regions. You have the insane blow potential with the taunt into Cursed Bullet. Actually, Fnatic pulled that style off several times against double support. Oh, hey, Tetcher, got him!
Zool.
Got him!
Counter Zool. Now, Zool, this is the second time Zool's been picked against Malthael. I'm sensing a theme.
I mean, with a bone armor,
I don't know what
you
it is, but I'm sensing one.
I'm trying to think of some advantages against the Malthael here that Azul could offer. Bone armor reflects a little bit of the damage because it's a shield.
Yeah.
The attack speed slow causes Malthael to not really have that many applications of his poison unless he has the E ready. And it's really good lockdown too. The root is really good to lock him down. So maybe that's it.
Fair. There is a Malthael does have a perfect counter to that. One of his levels has a talent where after 2 seconds he becomes unstoppable. So the second you hear that of the rooting coming, you just hit that button.
I'm running out of explanations, man. I tried. I tried.
In theory, I would argue that this should be worse, because if they are playing, if they end up fighting in lane, you're just adding more minions, more skeletons to Malthael getting his mark on, his Reaper's mark on, which means he can pull the soul from more of them and get even more healing. Yeah. Same with the skeletal warriors. Yeah, they're going to slow, but that's just more warriors. Like, the only advantage that has is if you go by the build we saw last time, you have the explosive skeleton, so that if Malthael does kill them, they actually deal damage back again.
Okay, here's my last try, Tetcher, to find a solid explanation why Azul is getting picked here, okay? They've just been playing a lot of Diablo 3 lately with the Necromancer.
Maybe they just really enjoy the trailer that we've been getting. Like, the one logic I have is this is not for teamfight potential. How are you going to deal with Malthael? You can't really, you're going to struggle in teamfights. You want to be careful. So how do you beat him? You get so far ahead that it doesn't matter. You go for split pushes, you go for map control, and you just try and win that way.
Exactly. If you can't beat him in a teamfight, try to work around it. Try to outpush them, to out-macro them. And you may have a very solid point there, because I think Zul, once again, if you take a look at CE, they don't really have the most wave clear I've ever seen. Falstad, yeah, he's okay at it. Malthael, not really. His damage is relatively slow compared to other assassins. So maybe out-pushing them and just causing so much confusion and havoc all across the board is going to be too much for CE to handle. We're going to find out soon. So far, Zul is sitting at a 100% win rate. Kappa Kipu.
Kudos top going to ruin it. Also, I've been corrected. Unstoppable talent is instant. It's spell armor on the 2 seconds. So yeah, in theory, that is a pretty decent counter that he does have there. But yeah, is Kudos top going to ruin the Zul win rate? Or is Zul going to be an actual statistic as opposed to a spike, a outlier? We shall see.
I don't know, man, but judging from what I've seen in game number 1 here from KT, I think they have the mechanics and the skill to take the game. And this time they might have also have the draft to take the game. Although, I'm still a little bit skeptical about Zul and Sky Temple. If it had been something like Blackheart's Bay, I know it's not in the HGC map pool, or Tomb of Spider Queen, or Dragonshire, it would have been a little bit stronger because more wave clear being applied here. But we're going to find out who's going to reign supreme here on Sky Temple in game number 2 between KT and CE.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sky Temple. And spawning on the left-hand side, it is going to be Kudos top And playing for them, it is T-Dye on the Ariel, Neptune on the Zool again, Fury for Uther, on the Uther, sorry, Sieg on Valor, and Butcher on the Arthas.
And the reigning Chinese champions sweating a little bit in game number 1. CE here. We have Lufo on his Rhaegar, Wind on the Nubarak, KTY on Greymane this time, Paradise on Malthael, and Zuyu on the Falstad, providing all them globals. Now, Zul, once again, guys, this is not the PTR patch. This is not the Stukov patch. Our team's just trying to get warmed up.
So here's my theory. All these teams had Zul in the back pocket for the longest time.
Yeah.
And just didn't know when to bring him out. And then the PTR patch came out. It's just as, oh, we might as well use it now by hiding it. So that is my theory. CE trying to race down the bot lane. They're already going to grab one tower. They're actually going to grab two because Valor and Uther trying to get some counter pressure. They're pushing in top lane.
Beautifully baited here as well by Falstad, who took the Vision Tower because of his flight, and then KT was probably like, oh, okay, they're trying to get the Vision Tower, right? We're gonna brawl now. Only to find out, uh-oh, it's just the Birdman, no one else here, so we're kind of screwed now. But they rotated quickly enough to get some value elsewhere in top. Also keep in mind that Wind, once again, abusing the power of Nubarak, spawning beetles who are taking the aggro from all of the buildings so they can just push in very peacefully. Now, they're actually sending 4 people into this bottom lane. Falstad is gonna do the double soak. Wait, are they going all the way for the fort? As long as they're beetles, I guess they can.
I mean,
yeah,
as long as they can spam abilities, which they couldn't for a while. Lufo actually taking a lot of damage there. They need to clear this lane as quick as possible.
They're going to get it.
Malthael rotating down to top. Yeah, bot has just been ditched. It's just going to be a...
Yeah, really sick to see how they're basically splitting value from one lane to the other. Is Falstad going to be able to defend the top lane? For now, he seems to be able to, and already reinforcements are on their way now. Greymane, Rhaegar, they're all trying to help Falstad in need because they don't want to lose a fort just like that. And that already, the bottom lane no longer being existent, guarantees them an incredibly strong second temple phase, which is going to happen in a few minutes.
Really well, as long as they can keep control of that and not get counter-pushed in by Zul if he is left unattended. We will see. For now, mid-shrine being controlled by CE, as top shrine being controlled by KT. Both teams hitting level 4 about the same time, CE a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I actually like what KT has been doing so far. True, they got a little bit less value from the temple because they had to take down the top fort with it, but they're not going to complain about it because as you can see, XP, the global XP is so close to each other, neither of the teams can really complain about it. And that's the class by KT already. They did not panic. They did not lose their composure. Instead, they remained calm and collected. They went for value elsewhere. They traded top for bottom. And actually getting a kill here onto Paradise as well. Really solid. KT, this team has stepped up so tremendously even from the previous play days.
They really have. They're just getting better and better each day we see them. Right now, they're not only pushing in mid lane, they've already taken down the fort in top lane, but Zul is continuing to pressure bot. A nice move by Zuyu there, very nearly also becoming a statistic.
Absolutely. Like, if that Holding Blast had landed, it would have been lights out for that Falstad. Now, 6-6. KT starting to get ahead ever so slightly. The engage on Vala. Unfortunately, the E from Malthael not landing, so there was no Phantom Strike immediately to follow up with the damage. Falstad flying in. They saw him coming a long way, though. And as such, not really big of a surprise factor anymore.
So we can see KT continuing to roam around Kuda's top, have a band at the top, and are looking to pressure mid and bot while grabbing mercenaries, preparing for that next temple base, but not going for their own bruiser this time. They do get the root on Falstad, but once again, Zuyu, having the barrel roll available, is able to escape. But yeah, they haven't taken their own bruiser cap yet, I think. I don't saw them, didn't see them capping it.
Yeah.
So instead, they're just grabbing their siege giants. Now they're going to their bruiser cap.
To answer a question from chat here real quick, because Cypress TW asked us what macro is, and I think that's a term that has appeared and, you know, been talked about more often over the last few months in Heroes of the Storm, so not everybody might have gotten the memo. So with macro play, you normally describe the way or the ability of a team to play around the map, to make decisions a couple of minutes ahead of time, to have a plan like, okay, in 2 minutes from now the boss is going to be spawning, so we're going to push in the bottom lane so we can secure it. Whereas the micromanagement oftentimes means like team fight coordination, mechanics, so everything that involves maps, rotations, and decision making over a longer period of time can be referred as macro.
Yes, this is why it was described, like macro quite literally means long and micro means short. It's very much long-term versus short-term. In StarCraft, it was always described as microing a Blink Stalker to outplay a Marine and kill that off, that's micro. Building 20 more Stalkers while it's happening, that's macro.
Couldn't have described it better, my man. So, now that we've got that one settled and everybody can step up their own game, both in macro and micro, there's another brawl happening in the bottom lane here. Falset not yet joining the fray, though.
Yeah, they're trying to soak out as much XP as possible because Zul split soaked so much. They also still have their Bruiser camp up there, so they're trying to pressure. As such, though, they're going to lose some shots, but they can afford to. They've already taken down the 4 in this bottom lane, so they're not getting a huge amount from grabbing this, other than starting to put some pressure onto mid. So they just want to keep as many members of Kudo's top down here for as long as possible.
Absolutely. They want to keep them busy for as long as possible. They even managed to get a couple of laser shots here out of the temple, which is nice. It's eventually going to hit the middle after the bottom tower fell. And look at Falstead. He's been joining the fray. Not really, because he's been busy pushing with the mercenaries and the minion wave, and they get another fort out of it. That's raw value right there. Zul, unfortunately, was busy pushing in the middle. He did not really want to depush top. And let's face it, in a duel between Zul and Falstead, there's probably not a whole lot. Oh, Zuyu, you are a god.
You beautiful person. He gets out nicely done. Just as heroics are hit.
Oh my god.
Nicely done. And they go for the engage. Here comes Malthael doing what Malthael... he's killed everything. He's done what death does. Now there's just one more in the cocoon. Down goes the Ariel. Take it out as well. That is 3 kills for 0. 2 forts in just that rotate. They got 1 fort earlier. Got another fort with fast pushing top. And mid fort is super weak from the lasers. CE. What a controlling turnaround from that big lead that Zul was able to get from the soak.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was macro play par excellence here. The Falstead baited the entire enemy team of KT into a gank. Then we had beautiful micro play here with a gust and a flight away to safety. In the meantime, though, all the remaining team members set up a trap in the bush, only to collapse on the pursuing enemies. And after they won the team fight, they went down to the boss, securing themselves as much value as possible. This was a beautiful execution by CE. And I gotta say, it's gonna be a long way for KT to come back now, because 13 is around the corner as well. The boss is pushing, the members are following and joining the pursuit here. That's gonna be pretty good. Uh-oh. Cocoon outside of the base. Rip.
Oh dear, this might be a problem. Falstad is near enough here that he could move in and attempt to gust if anyone tries to help. Not needed though, as Uther couldn't even divine shield himself. He was stun locked so hard, and he gets taken out. And see, with this boss, it's already down to half health, so this may not be an end game scenario unless Anub has anything to say about it. Stunning up Valor. Good Skeletal Mages though to try and protect this. Never mind, goodbye Skeletal Mages, as they are gusted away. They take down the keep, and that is the first keep of the game going over to CE.
And the tide has turned. What used to be a dominant early game in game number 1 for KT, getting the middle keep extremely fast across Hollow, now turns out to be the exact opposite. CE charging in with the Tormented Souls, and Malthael is just reaping souls left, right, and center.
Souls, they need more souls. So much damage done to the other members. They kill off Arthur's, but they don't get the second kill that might have been enough for them to make a play onto the mid keep, for example, instead. They now have full control of the map. A couple of them may need to be. They took a little bit of damage, down a little bit of mana. They want to, though, instead. They're just going to clear out mid and prepare for the temples. Falstad already moving down to the bottom one.
And I'm so happy to see that Paradise went for the Touch of Death here at level 7, which is, of course, the massive healing reduction. 50% less healing done by everyone affected by his trade. It's just amazing, especially if combined with the AoE damage from Tormented Souls. And you could really see how crippling it was for Uther and Oriel in those team fights. And they're 3 levels behind now as a result. The Zul was never really able to establish dominance in the pushing department here, in the laning aspect. So KT, they are trying to bring the aggression back to their opponents. They realize, hey, somebody is still at the bottom temple. It's probably going to be Falstad, so if we want to make something happen, it needs to be quick and fast.
He's moving fast indeed. Falstad continuing to pressure. He's actually moving up, getting ready to fly in to help his team if he is needed here. He's also able to clear mid while he's doing this. He's trusting his team to defend. He's just getting even more XP here as we do see CE go in. Falstad will be able to fly up. The cocoon is already dropped as they move into the backline. The Noob getting focused now. Cocoon popped. Here's Falstad. Not even the Gust, finally dropping it as the Ancestral lands on Wind. Good delay with that Gust on the damage as Malthael moves in. Tormented Souls shredding through the line. Zul gets destroyed, and we're going to see Ariel get chased down as well. And Malthael dives into the backline to his E. He's fully stacked now. Even more damage. Ariel will die to poison, and Valor will die to everything.
What are you gonna do when he comes for you? The Reaper, the Soul Reaper. Fantastic performance by CE, and they're going right at it. Are they going for the core, or do they want to establish more value with the middle keep? The death timers are very low. I think they go for the safe play, and I like it. They go for the keep first, which of course gives them more value on future temples. The top one actually still has its full juice available. Paradise now getting cleansed. Beautifully done. That's how you counter the Bone Prison. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And CE, no matter where you look, if it's the support, whether it's the assassins or the tanks, like the Ancestral healing also so clutch early in that teamfight on the Anub'arak. If he had fallen, the teamfight would have looked a lot differently.
Exactly. What a beautiful play here by CE. Keeping the Anub'arak alive thanks to that Gust was just next level plays. And right now, they are looking at dominance. They still need to spend a little bit of time before they can end the game. They need to get a team wipe maybe close to enemy base, or at least further into the game. And Noob gets found, but tunneling to freedom. The nice timing on the Zul route, though, could have been danger. Here's the team, though. It goes Malthael, even without Tormented Souls, going straight into the backline, trying to get onto Neptune. But now he's in trouble, getting locked down by Zul, turning around, trying to get as many soul draining as possible. Once again, diving into the backline. Neptune is drained of souls. The Tormented Souls is back, yo, as he dives straight in. And we're going to see another massacre. And this will be GG.
And here comes the whistle. Falset flying behind the Oriole, catching up and executing her. It's a full team wipe in favor of CE. And guess what? They're not going to ask twice for that chance to finish the core. They're going in, they're waltzing in, saying hello, they're painting some graffitis on that core. And it's only a matter of time until it falls. There's nothing Zul can do. He just respawned, but hey, he's going to be a very sad Necromancer. And there it goes, down it goes. CE, not disappointing their fans here. 2-0, very clean game number 2 after looking a little bit shaky in the first one. But Tetra, this is the CE that we know. And this is exactly how you shut down the double support Uther Oriole Fnatic style.
Absolutely. They were like, you want to send this kind of double support, or you want to send this kind of crazy Illidan comp at us? We are ready for it. It is literally in our name. You send it at us, we will challenge everything.
Yeah.
Kudos top. Interesting drafts, creative play. It's great to see them continue to grow as a team. As long as they stick together, or even just swap out 1 or 2 players, they're going to just get better and better through our second rotation of the round robin and potentially into the next phase. Right now, I am really enjoying watching KT play even more every single game.